में ही समाए, साचा रूप साचा रंग मन में दिखाए, प्रकाशित हृदय में ईश्वर। तू अनादि तू अनंत, ध्याए ऋषि साधु संत। तू अनादि तू अनंत, ध्याए ऋषि साधु। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Kamal, Hiren, are you new to the class today?
Yes, ma'am.
First time? First time anything to do with Vedanta?
Yeah, first time.
Okay. So welcome to the class. We are currently doing a very important portion, which is about the spiritual path. The spiritual path is made up of 3 parts. There are 3 parts. When we talk about the spiritual path, we mean one of 3 things. We mean either Karma Yoga, which means how you work in this world as an attempt for self-edification, self-purification, self-development, or Bhakti Yoga, that's the second part, which is how you, what kind of emotions we have in this world, how do we relate to people and objects and beings through our emotions, so that our emotions become a path of self-edification. And Gnana Yoga, what do we do with our intellect, with our reasoning capacity, with our discrimination as a method of spiritual development? So these are the 3 parts. We are currently doing the 3rd part, which is the intellectual path, which is Gnana Yoga. So this is where we currently are. And that's where we're going to continue from. Does anybody have any questions up to this point?
Good morning, Chandji.
Sorry?
It's Mukesh. Good morning. Good. Just some clarification regarding, you did explain to us that what is reflection and what is contemplation. Can you kindly please just go over that again? So I just didn't understand it quite clearly, please. Thank you.
Reflection is when your intellect, let's start with mind wandering. Mind wandering is when your mind has many thoughts and they jump from one thing to another thing to another. This is known as mind wandering. There is no point in it. It's just like you start from, oh my God, did you see 2,000 rupee notes have been scrapped again? My God, well, remember what happened in demonetization? And I don't know whether demonetization got rid of terrorists or not. But these terrorists are really causing too much trouble in the world today. Yes, but there's also climate change. I mean, this is called mind wandering. There's no point in this. It's just going from one thing to another thing, pretty much pointlessly. So this is the lowest level, where the mind simply has all sorts of thoughts going on. Now, we grow from that into the thoughts of the intellect, which start thinking in a disciplined manner about something in particular. Okay, so you're thinking about what is Gnana Yoga, for instance. So what are the various points of Gnana Yoga? So there is a disciplined, a rational approach to thinking, right? How a scientist might think about how he wants to find the solution to a certain problem. Like a person may say, I want to find the solution to cancer, or specifically to mouth cancer, or, it's a very specific thing that a person is doing, and he stays on that track until he finds the answer to whatever it is he was looking for. This is called reflection. It involves your intellect thinking in a rational and disciplined manner on any aspect of this world. Contemplation is when your intellect thinks in a rational and disciplined manner of something beyond the world, of something that has something of a higher nature. Higher means comparative to you. So comparative to you, you can think of something higher, greater, vaster. When you start questioning things like, where has this world come from? Where are we all going? What is the purpose of existence? What distinguishes good from evil? What is that distinguishing thing? When you start, when your intellect in a disciplined and rational manner starts thinking about higher things, this is known as contemplation. Usually such thoughts are directed by the subtle intellect. I mean, there has to be an element of the subtle intellect, otherwise it will not come under the term contemplation. So when your mind thinks by itself, it's merely wandering. Oh, when I become rich one day, this will happen, that will happen. If I get married, then this will happen, that will happen. Oh, I'll get grandchildren, this will happen. Whatever the stories are. So that's all mind wandering. Reflection is intellect thinks in a rational and disciplined matter of anything to do with the world. It could even be, should I get married or not get married? It could be anything, something in the world. And contemplation is when the intellect thinks in a rational and disciplined manner about something of a higher nature. Higher meaning higher in comparison to where one is. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you very much.
Madam, one question, ma'am. You just said that the contemplation, I understood, intellect's subtle intellect, higher. But you said mind for reflection, or is it the gross intellect? Well, I mean, you said mind over there.
Mind does mental wandering.
I understood. That also understood. Where does gross intellect comes in where then?
Reflection.
Okay, so the mind is not gross related to reflection.
No, not at all.
Oh, it's the one wandering all around. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
But even the contemplation is mostly the gross intellect.
No, contemplation is directed by the subtle intellect. It is done by the gross intellect because the subtle intellect doesn't do anything, but it has to be directed by the subtle. It's done by the gross intellect.
Got it. Thank you.
The subtle intellect is like a compass. It merely shows what is north. That's all it does. It doesn't get into anything further. It only has north, not north. That's all. God, not God. That's all it can do. Higher, not higher. That's about it. So the work is actually to be done by the gross intellect.
So the subtle intellect is the conscience?
It contains the conscience, yes.
Okay.
Subtle intellect is actually just a discrimination between world and not world. That's all it is. Because you have that capacity, it translates as your comprehension of what will take you there and what will not take you there. This ability that it translates into is what the layman calls conscience.
So it's like a moral compass, basically,
Yes.
in a sense.
Yes. It's just that. It's just God, not God, or world, not God, or not world. That's it.
This is okay by the by God, and this is not okay by God.
Not by God. This is
I mean,
world, this is
wrong.
not world. Put it like that. This is world, this is not world.
Yeah. Okay.
So therefore, because you know this is what, because you had that original discrimination, you can now tell which is the higher, which is the lower. It's an offshoot of that. So when you're doing something particularly to the lower, your conscience speaks, as it were, meaning that you are able to instinctively recognize that this is not a correct action. You know this. And that conscience speaks differently to different people based on how good their original discrimination. The more the development of the subtle intellect, that means more your discrimination is extremely sharp about world beyond world, the more stringent will your conscience be. Because now you're seeing more, so obviously your discrimination is more. Okay, so what were we doing with reference to the Gnana?
Another question. Gnana Yoga is about the distinction between the ephemeral and the eternal, which is, and the subtle intellect also kind of does the same thing. It talks about the eternal, which is God, and the ephemeral, which is not God. So, like in the beginning stages, it is still done by the gross intellect, where within the world it looks at what's permanent and what's impermanent, and finally it looks at, like at the later stages, it grows into God and not God. Is it correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think what you mean is that when your intellect is not very developed, it sees a very short distance, right? So in the short distance, you can tell which is longer, which is short. Like I can see only 3 feet ahead. Since I can see only 3 feet ahead, I think 1 is close to me and 3 is far from me. Right? Because I can see only that much. But if my vision gets better and then I can see up to 6, then I understand 3 is close to me, 3 is also close, and 6 is far. I mean, if you're meaning it in that sense, then yes, that's correct. As your vision gets better, you go on to higher and higher things. If that's what you meant, then yes.
What I meant to ask was that Jnana Yoga is about strengthening the subtle intellect or the gross intellect or both?
Gnana Yoga is about strengthening the gross intellect. The subtle intellect gets strengthened by all the three yogas.
Okay, all right.
That is common to all the three.
Okay.
However, we never say that the subtle intellect is strengthened. That is not a usage we have. The reason we don't have this usage is because there's no such thing as strengthening the subtle intellect.
Okay.
The subtle intellect is common to all humans at all times. The reason it manifests differently within all of us is not because of any difference in the subtle intellect, but in the difference in the level of desires.
Okay.
When the desires are very strong, that subtle intellect is submerged. As the desires start falling off, that compass becomes sharper and sharper.
Okay. So all of us have different level of gross intellects, but all of us has the same level of subtle intellect. It is just covered in different people to different degrees.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason we say that is because subtle intellect is only the capacity of discrimination between world and not world. World
Yeah.
and
So
beyond
you
world.
either have it or not have it.
Yeah, and all human beings have it. Every single human being has it, including an atheist.
Okay.
The atheist says that there is no God. But for the atheist to say that there is no God, he will first
Still has
have
a
to
concept of
discriminate, no?
Yeah, he still has a concept of God.
He still has a
That
concept.
he's saying that doesn't exist. But why do we claim that all humans have the subtle intellect?
Because that's true. What do you mean, why do we claim it? Every human being has it. No animal has it. No animal can make a distinction between world and God. All human beings can make this distinction. You ask the dumbest human being you know, do you believe in God? They will either say yes or they will say no. Right? If they say, whether they say yes or they say no, that means they've understood your question. You suppose you ask a dog, do you believe in God? The dog will say nothing because they don't know what you just said.
So even if somebody has never thought of, say they live in a society where they consider the king to be the supreme, which is like something of the world. So even if I ask the person who has never thought of anything beyond the world, you would still have that discrimination?
Yes. Because you can say, no, is your king God? You say yes.
Okay.
Because when he says only my king, he will give his king all sorts of attributes, right?
Okay.
So you think his king to be God.
But the king is still part of the world to him.
That way, everything is a part of the world. When you go to Shiva temple, the Shiva Murti is part of the world. You don't know anything beyond the world, right? Everything you identify as God in this world is still the world. Every temple, every church, every mosque, every idol, every mantra, everything is in the world.
Okay. Thank you.
Where are Hiren and Kamal? Are you all still with us? Is everything clear or not? Anybody else listening? Okay, so coming back to what was the Gnana Yoga. First thing we know about Gnana Yoga is it is meant for intellectuals. Second thing we know about Gnana Yoga is that it does not mean that you have studied something. Doesn't necessarily mean that at all. Right? Kabira can write all his dohas, fantastic dohas, can teach us so much. He's probably never read the scriptures. He has no idea what these scriptures are. right? So everything that he says is sensible, but he may have had no access to any scripture. Even his comprehension of the path, he says, Kabira man nirmal bhayo, jaise ganga neer, piche piche hari firat, kahat kabir kabir. Because you don't need to go in search of God. Make your mind nirmal. Without mal, what is the mal we have? The desire, the impurities. To take that impurities out of your mind, God will chase you. You don't worry about chasing God. So his concepts are so clear in spite of the fact that he may have read nothing. In fact, he recommends that. He'd say something like, Pothi pothi jagmara, pandit bhayana koe, dhai akshar prem ka, pade so pandit ho. There's pothi, all the pothis, all the grunts of literature, of spirituality, pothi pad jagmara. The whole world is going mad reading and listening. Any amount of YouTube videos, any amount of books, any amount of lectures, we are all going berserk. There's pothi pad jagmara, pandit bhayana koi. Nobody became a pandit. Who is a pandit? One who has the panda. Panda means intellect. So pandit bhayana koi. So he has no intellect. Dhai akshar prem ka. But if we just read Dhai Akshar, Prema is Dhai Akshar. Dhai Akshar Prema ka pade so pandit hoye. If you want to understand universal affection, you are a pandit. You have an intellect. You have everything. So, see how clear his concepts. Jo Guru Base Banarasi, Shishya Ganga Tir, Shishya Samundar Tir. एक पलक बिछड़े नहीं गुण होवे शरीर. If you are staying somewhere, if the guru is staying in Banaras, Shishya Samundar Tir, on the other side of the Samundar, एक पलक बिछड़े नहीं. It doesn't take a second. कि गुण होवे शरीर, that we go back to our original ways. Don't we see that when you come to class? Everything is so pure and so wonderful. And then class is over and our own nature is back. So that is why each thing he is so clear about. The importance of purifying the mind. The importance of understanding, not reading endlessly, but getting that depth of knowledge. And the acid test of that is universal affection. Being in the company of the wise, staying with the teachers, staying with people wiser than us. All the time we are with people who are maybe less wise than us. So every concept of his is very clear, in spite of the fact that he may never have read the scriptures. So, remember our points about Gnana Yoga? First point was, or at least this point which we are currently discussing was?
It's not about gathering information.
It's not about gathering information. Very good. So, first point is, it is meant for intellectuals. Second point is, it is not about gathering information. Then what is it about? It is learning to discriminate. Learning that quality of discernment. Being able to tell in your own life what is important and what is not important. What is kartavya? Kartavya means kartum yogya. What is proper? What is fit? What should be done? To know about my own life, not because somebody says I should do something. But I know what is kartavya. Kartavya is a potential passive form of the word kruta, which means kartavya, kartum yogya. yogya, proper or fit to be done? Is it proper or fit to be doing the things that I'm doing? Who will tell me this? Only mind. That is the discrimination I have to get in life. Because based on that single and solitary factor will be how my life is going to pan out. Were my actions designed for momentary peace and bliss? Or were my actions designed for long-term satisfaction and fulfillment? What were my actions designed for? Because this world is very cruel. Or you can say it's very just. Whichever word you like, both are right. It's very cruel because if you choose wrongly, you will get its repercussions. All the crying that we are currently doing, all the problems that we are currently struggling under are nothing but past actions designed for immediate pleasure. So now I have to check what I'm doing. So that discrimination that we develop, that faculty of discernment, is where Gnana Yoga has to take us. Now, how do you develop this faculty of discernment? That comes through study. What we do sometimes is we replace that development with the study. That won't work. Pothi poth pad pad jag mara pandit bhayana koe. How many lectures have we listened to? Was it going to help you? Get down to the hard work. And the hard work is our capacity to dedicate ourselves wholly and entirely to something more than ourselves and our family. Just completely dedicated to that one thing, whatever that one thing be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you consider to be your God. What matters is that you have dedicated yourself to that thing. We have a lot of debate and discussion on who is the right God, who is the wrong God, what is a goal worth pursuing, what is a goal not worth pursuing. All that doesn't matter. What matters in life is my dedication to that thing. Because it is my dedication to that thing that supplants my idea of myself. That's what I'm trying to get, right? I have to somehow forget about myself. How can I forget about myself? I can't tell myself, forget about myself. That can't happen. So what can I do? I can dedicate and say, okay, this thing, whatever I have considered, is more important than me. It's more important than my fears. It's more important than my hopes. It's more important than my comforts. Some people will not dedicate themselves saying, oh my God, I'm not good enough for this. Some people will not dedicate themselves thinking, oh my God, I become so uncomfortable by doing this. So many reasons not to. But when you care about something so much that you don't care about your comfort, you don't care about your fears, you don't care about your hopes, you don't care about anything, you just care about that one thing. You have supplanted the thought of yourself. That's where we have to be. That is why you are all recommended to Karma Yoga, because it's not easy to supplant the thought of this body, mind, intellect with that of the self. So for starters, you have to do Karma Yoga. Not Karma Yoga in my free time, I will help you in some way. Not like that. But you take up something till it hurts you. Like ask Neeru at the moment. It's hurting her. And I'm being of no help to her also. It has to hurt you. Unless it hurts you, unless it makes you frightened, unless it makes you say, I have to do this, no matter what comes. Not going to. It's simply not going to help us grow. Remember, ask Bharat. Bharat, what makes the muscle stronger?
Going through the daily rigor.
So what is that cause and effect relationship? How did that muscle become stronger? What happened to the muscle that it became stronger?
The repetition of going through that rigor, right?
Yeah, so when you repeat and all that, you take more and more weight. So what's happening to that muscle?
You're pushing yourself.
What is happening to that muscle?
You're pushing yourself beyond the.
That's correct. It is tearing. That tearing of the muscle is what is going to make it stronger. Now we are saying, no, I'm very uncomfortable. Okay, I can't pick up so much weight. But then how is your weight? How is your muscle going to get stronger? That micro tear is necessary, not a complete tear, because then it'll break down. Not a complete tear. That micro tears, those fibers have to be pulled apart. Pulled apart in such a way that they rejoin stronger, and then pulled apart so that they rejoin. Then you get Bharat's body. Otherwise, we will get, I don't know what, Keshtu Mukherjee's body. No tear is taken. Similarly, at the level of the mind, the tear has to take. It has to be beyond what you think you can do. If it's not that, then it's not. It's like very comfortably you're doing something. 2 hours a week, I help the Vedanta Wisdom Trust. It's good, but it's not good. You have to take up something, whatever you want to take up. It doesn't matter what you take up. Take up something ridiculous like a Vedanta University and allow that to tear. Only when it tears, it will become stronger. It doesn't matter whether you fail or succeed. It doesn't matter what it is that you have taken up. Nothing matters. It just matters that you have supplanted the thought of yourself with the thought of something higher. To be able to do that, I hope you all are still with me. To be able to do that, you will need
A strong intellect.
Discrimination.
okay,
Consistency.
okay.
Dedication.
To do all these things, you will need
Knowledge.
Intellect, strong intellect.
all of these. To do this, you will need
Morning studies.
Voice is not clear. What you're saying, I'm not getting.
to do all these various things that everybody said. You will need, including Asha, who says value for it, even to gain value for it. Everything you will need discipline. Discipline. Even to get discipline, you will need
Focus.
finally Deepraj.
You should have higher goal.
All of this will be given to you. Deepraj, please speak up so that everybody knows.
Daily morning studies.
Daily morning study. Daily morning study. Daily morning study. Make it that your mantra. Now, what is the use of this morning study? That all these other things will happen. Don't say I'm studying in the morning and then rest of the day I'm eating ice cream and watching television. It doesn't work. So, yoga is made for the intellectuals. It is not about study. It is about discrimination. But this discrimination is got through
Daily morning studies.
morning study. Morning studies means
20% reading, 80% reflection.
very 20% reading, 80% reflection. When you start thinking about things every single day, because that is your highest priority, you're going to think about it. And that thinking is going to shed light on the rest of your day. So you're not going to it's like in the morning, the first thing that happens is, if you get up early enough, the first thing that you do is you switch on the light. Because nothing else works until the light is there. Correct? If you don't get up early enough, nature switches on the light for you. Means the sun rises. But only when the sun rises can you do anything else, right? So if your morning studies aren't in place, if the light is not there, if the way of looking at it is not correct, then what on earth are you doing? All mechanical actions going on. So therefore, mornings, which should lead to all these results in the day. But now we don't want to put in the heart. What do we want to do? We want some nice, what should I say? Tell us some nice stories. Say something inspiring. That one lady, one of the volunteers was telling me, Karuna was telling me that she called the lady up and she said, would you like to come for the July course? So the lady said, yes, I would love to come to the July course. But this time I can't come because my friend is traveling and she won't be able to make it. So do you realize what all this means? I am not willing to put aside any form of my discomfort to do something better. Only if it is totally comfortable, I'm going to do. This will not make anyone go. You have to do it whether it's comfortable or not, whether it's frightening or not, whether it is terrifying or not. You do it somehow. So people don't want to put in any effort. When we say people, we're not some people there. We are talking about the 30 of us in this classroom now. We don't want to put in effort. We will try to avoid every form of effort. And then we will say, I've been studying Vedanta for 20 years. Nothing has happened. Nothing will happen. Things don't happen. We make them happen. So either you made it happen or you didn't make it happen. But if you were so close to Vedanta and you still didn't make it happen, then was the thing. So close and so far away. How can we do this to ourselves? Be so close and so far away. What Adi Shankaracharya says, Paschanna pichana paschati muraha. Those fools who though seeing don't see. So close to the knowledge. And we are letting this wonderful opportunity slip by because we are not using it. We are not using it as a tool towards our own edification. Mukesh Pujariya. Does the morning study applicable to example a thief because she is dedicated to just that? Focused on only theft day. Okay. Yes, yes, it is applicable even to the thief who is focused on his theft. If he was, he should do his nightly thieving, whatever he's doing, and then come back by 4 o'clock in the morning and open his books and study. And over a period of time, he may find that he may not like to do his theft and would prefer to do his morning study more with a more fresh mind. So he'd say, no, I can't go and become a thief at night because it's nicer if I, get some rest before I study. So I have to sleep by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then I'll get up and I'll study. So I won't do any thievery at night. I'll try to do it during the day. He'll shift his thing. Then after some time, after he's studying with a fresh mind, he may realize that, oh, I don't think I really want to do this thievery. What I will do is, I think I will just, sort of I'll thief things that don't trouble other people so much. Means I won't take all their money, I'll take only half their money. Okay, so slowly, step by step, it will change. That is why you know the story. Everybody, I think, knows the story of how Valyakoya, Valyakoya became Valmiki. Valyakoya was a thief and he met the sages. And the sages told him that you're thieving all this right now. Means he gained knowledge. He is that is thieving all this. For whom are you thieving? It was for my wife and children. He says, you're incurring all this papa for your wife and children. They are sharing all the loot that you take. Are they going to share your pap also? So he goes and he asks his wife and children, are you going to share my pap also for doing this? And the family said, no, are you stupid? We'll share your loot. We won't share that pap of yours. So he wakes up and he says, my God, look at what a stupid thing I'm doing. I won't do this anymore. But what do I do now? How do I become better? What do I do? So the sages tell him, you chant Ram Nam. You say Ram, 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 and you will reach. And he tries saying Ram, Ram. He can't say the word Ram. He just can't, because he's not purified enough to say Ram also. So he goes back to the sages and says, I can't say Ram. So they say, never mind, say Mara. You start saying Mara. And so he says Mara, 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 Mara. Mara becomes Ram eventually. So yes, in answer to your question, the short answer is yes. Even for the thief, he has to get up and study, because that's his method of edification. Now, don't forget that we all are thieves in some way or the other. Who is a thief? A thief who takes more than his fair share. And we all are doing it. Do you realize that every single person in this class is in the top 5% of this world's population? There's some study that they recently did, and they said that if you had more than 1.44 crore as your total corpus, you are amongst the top 1% in India. If you have clean drinking water, education, food, you are in the top 5% of this world. Are we not thieves? What about the 95% who do not have any access to all these great luxuries we have? You know, we have a rain shower, and you love our rain showers. What luxury is this? What kind of luxury is this? When other people don't have clean drinking water. So in our way, we are all thieves. We have so much more than what would be our fair share if all the wealth of this world was divided equally. We are halfway to being criminals. And so we have to study it.
Can I interrupt you, though?
Oh, I finished. You're not interrupting anymore. Go ahead.
Just the example about, that we are 1% fortunate to have all these luxuries in life. So that, taking that point about reflection, so we are reflecting on I believe this is what reflection is, thinking about the other people, the other 99%. So from that stage, where would this contemplation would now come? So I've reflected on that, but you have to do something about it, I believe. It's not just about thinking. what am I going to do for this 99? I can't help everyone. Obviously not, other parts of the world. So where did this reflection and then contemplation come? The next step.
Contemplation is that I'm not here. Reflection, wait, they're very different things. Okay, so first is I realized that I have to help others. So what do I start doing? I start helping whatever I can see. Okay, somebody needs some money, somebody needs some, in the hospital, I take them food, somebody needs some money, I start helping generally, doing these random acts of kindness. After some time, it occurs to me that it's a barrage. I can't handle it. How many people can I help like this if I go about it? What is a better way for me to do it? So then I start thinking, okay, what about if I make an organization and, all of us get together and start helping? And then maybe we'll make some dent. But really, nobody has been able to make a dent. Not Bill Gates, not Warren Buffett. Nobody has been able to make a dent. So somebody has to start thinking, what can we do of such significance that actually people, the maximum number of benefit to the maximum number of people in such a way that we actually solve this problem. And you begin to realize that there is no solution to this problem. You're thinking, you're going on thinking, you're thinking, so you do something. You think some more, so you do some more. You think something else, you do something. And then it occurs to you that really all the help I give anyone is no help to anyone else. It is only me doing what I should be doing. It is the concept that I will help another person is also has some arrogance in it. The assumption that somehow I'm better and I'm going to help. So I'm not helping anybody. I'm just doing my best. Then what would be my best? That is for each one of us to think. In terms of what Vedanta says, personally, I don't know any better way of helping. Can't think of anything better. If you can think of it, please let me know. But as far as I can see, the best thing that we can do is to help develop social consciousness. We can do all the work in the world. It won't matter because there is just too much work. Suppose I spend my whole day cleaning the house and everybody else in the house, all they do is dump rubbish everywhere. I could spend my whole day cleaning and the house will still be dirty. So if I want the house clean, instead of my cleaning it, forcing some of the others also to clean it, if I go to the root of the problem, that people are throwing dirt, can I educate them not to throw dirt? Then the cleanliness of the house will look after itself. Right? So in this world, there are orphans because family members don't look after them. There are old age homes because family members don't look after them. There is climate this because human beings are so selfish, so self-centered that they don't care what will happen to the climate. So what we can do is spread social consciousness. And when we spread social consciousness, that means every one of us commit to ourselves that I will be less selfish. The world will take care of itself. Because it is the human being that spoils everything. And when the human being stops spoiling everything, everything works beautifully anyway. So this ability to do less social work and create more social consciousness is what is required amongst our people. In India, they did it earlier by saying, oh, the tree is God, the animals are God, the wind is God. So nobody was going around spoiling any of it because they looked at it with a sense of worship. In Manusmriti, it said, if you cut one tree, it is like killing 4 Brahmins. So, that's how they created it in those times. In these times, we may have to create it in a different way. But if we do this, we will cut it out at the root, where the human being is not wrecking the world. I don't know if you all got that talk by Swami Chinmayananda. Did you all see it? I'd asked Bharat to post. Bharat, you posted it on the group?
Yes, yes. It
Yes,
was
he
done on
did.
Monday.
Yes, he did.
Okay. So please listen to it. He said, what is the highest service? That we reduce our unselfishness. Clean myself up. The world will take care of itself. Fantastic talk he has given. That all we need to do is clean ourselves up. You know, he says the world is not a mess. The world is not, climate change is not happening because of some other creature. The world is continuing fine. If we stop messing our waters, our rivers, the rivers are flowing beautifully. If we stop messing up the atmosphere, the air is beautiful and fresh anyway. So we create this social consciousness. Then we may be able to go as route towards solution than any other method that at least I have heard of so far. I don't know if any of you have heard any other. Right? So it's like there's a leaky tap, and all our social work is like there's a leaky bucket, and all our social work is a full tap. The tap is on full flow, but the bucket never fills because there's a hole in it. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Henry, and fix it. We're not fixing that hole. So what do you do? So when you start thinking, I hope the answer is clear. This talk wasn't about social consciousness. The answer to your question, that when you start reflecting, you will automatically start doing. This additional doing will make you reflect more. And as this process goes on, you will realize that the ultimate answer is only self-realization. So that's how contemplation comes.
Thank you.
So now, where were we? That it is for the intellectuals, it is not erudition and scholarship, it is development of discrimination. But the development of discrimination, you will have to do studies. Studies means 20% reading, 20% thinking. Now, hard work like this, nobody wants to. But they like nice spikes, you know, we all like these little spikes. Oh, kitna man ko chhu gaya. All spikes we like. Hard, boring work. Get up in the morning and study. Live in an environment conducive for this. All that hard work, please do. That's why genuinely I thought we should up our whole ante. And all of us should live together and have this course. We started the course and now nobody wants to, not nobody, I know, I see many of you all have already joined, but like the whole class should be there. Why is the whole class not there? We should all of us be over there, at least for a week, so that you live over there, you up the ante. You've been listening to classes for so many years. Now, don't you want to do something more? Up it a little. Come to the course, do that course, live there. It's high priority for us. It's not like a nice to do thing. It's not a nice to do thing. It's a high priority thing. So that we can up it. And everybody from class should be there for whatever period of time they can afford. So keep moving in that direction. No? What is the use of all these volunteers working so hard to create conducive environments for everybody's sadhana, but nobody wants to do sadhana? So what is the point of this whole story? So upping it a little bit, a little discomfort, a little more discomfort. It comes from the dedication to your own growth. That hard work, who's going to do? Or are we going to sit forever on the fence about our sadhana? बहुत अच्छी चीज है, करनी चाहिए. बहुत अच्छी चीज करनी चाहिए. I don't know, right? Knock मिलेगी. Get on with it now. It's time to move forward,
Sometimes
Janki, I think we need to ambush ourselves sometimes. Like just when you're feeling a little inspired, just plunge and just commit to something before you can stop yourself. I think that's how it works.
Yes, correct. That's how you push it. So at some point, your mind gives you a little opening. Quickly push through. Otherwise, it becomes tough. You're right. That shows that you're practicing because you begin to figure out how this thing is working. It's not easy getting your mind to move, Which mind will leave its comfort zone and do something else? We feel that whatever we are doing is the ideal and perfect thing. And so we are not leaving that and doing something else. This is how every mind feels, that I am doing everything I should. We are in that kind of delusion. Somewhere something may open up and then push it through somehow. That's why Momita is coming to the course, because she figured out how to do this. Okay, so who will read the next paragraph? The easiest one to read.
I can read.
Please. Read the whole thing right up to the path of knowledge.
Okay. The Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter, verses 8 to 12, gives out 20 qualities that define the path of knowledge. They are virtues that go with the person endowed with spiritual knowledge. For a detailed study of those qualities, you may go through the author's commentary on the Gita. For your ready reference, they are enumerated below: humility, unpretentiousness, harmlessness, forgiveness, uprightness, service to preceptor, purity, steadfastness, self-control, dispassion towards sense objects, absence of egoism, insight into the pain of evil of birth, death, old age, disease, non-attachment, free from infatuation to son, wife, home, etc., constant balance of mind in desirable or undesirable happenings, unflinching devotion to self through steadfast yoga, resorting to solitary place, disinterest in gathering, constancy in self-knowledge, perception of the end of true knowledge. A seeker must develop these 20 qualities to ensure his advancement in the path of knowledge. So, these 20 qualities are of a Gnani that are given in the Bhagavad Gita, and to ensure that we advance in Gnana Yoga, we must develop these qualities.
20 qualities. Arjuna's question is, what is knowledge? And Krishna's answer is, Etat Jnanam iti to. This is knowledge. So has it been said. What is the this he's referring to? These 20 qualities. I hope the significance of that dawns on us. It is not our erudition. It is not what we know. It is the person we are. There is no difference between the knowledge and us. Then that is knowledge. Not reading so many books, knowing so many things. None of that counts. Remember that the hard disk of a computer can have the entire protocol of what to do in case of fire. This laptop in front of me can have on its hard disk the entire protocol of what to do in complete detail in case of fire. It is there on the hard disk. And yet, if a fire does start, this laptop will burn. Do you want to be this laptop? It's better to know 2 things that one can do rather than a billion things that one is not going to. So, he says, what is knowledge? He answers the question, what is knowledge, by saying, these 20 qualities. Meaning, are you that person? If you are that person, you have the knowledge. And what kind of person? First quality of a jnani, amanitvam. Amanitvam madambhitvam ahimsa shanti archara. Beautiful quality. Amanitvam. Amanitvam means a man, no man. In English translated as humility. Humility means what? Humility is the ability to not think about yourself. When you start saying, I'm better than you, this is called arrogance. It's a superiority complex. When you start saying, I am worse than you, then this is an inferiority complex. Humility is when you're not making any such comparison because you're not thinking about yourself. How does it matter whether you're better or I'm better? Am I in a competition with anybody? Is this world a competition? This world is more a circus than a competition. In a circus, everybody is doing his own thing, right? And all of it put together is a circus. Now here we are in the middle of some circus. Who's competing with whom? Why am I better or why am I worse? So what is it to do with? If I'm a trapeze artist, you are a lion tamer, somebody else is a joker. What of it? What of it? The trapeze artist can make a mistake in what they are doing. The lion tamer can make a mistake in what they are doing. The joker can also make a mistake in what they are doing. Each one has to do his own thing and to do it as good as they can, because when they make a mistake, they get into trouble. Now that joker made a mistake and the lion tamer made a mistake or trapeze artist made a mistake, so main kya karu? Let me do my act properly. That ability in us to not think about ourselves, to do what needs to be done rather than think about ourselves, is called humility. Quite simple, really.